We're here with Pete Dominick at the Republican National Convention, and he likes to discuss public policy. That's the kind of guy we like. He does commentary for CNN and Sirius Radio. He has a show there.
That's right. That's right, Sirius XM, and but I've made a living for a long time also as a stand-up comedian, so there's always that.
Okay. Well, Pete, let's start with what do you think is the most important issue, a public policy issue in this presidential campaign?
Well, there's an issue that no one is talking about, and I know this may sound radical, but I think climate change is a really important policy, because if we don't really have the conversation now, nothing else will matter. So I always look at climate change as being underlying. The planet is very important, and you can't have an economy, you can't have a foreign policy or tax policy if you don't have a place to live. And it may sound crazy to some people, but it's bizarre to me that those two words haven't been mentioned. I understand Republicans and politics on that issue, but I'd start there, and then of course I'd go to economic inequality and the economy and unemployment.
Okay, let's turn off our cell phones.
I'm pro mine's off, but you have yours, an old ring, a very old ring.
What the hell is that?
Is that a rotary dial?
I don't know, something like that. Okay, back to public policy.
Yeah.
So, is redistribution of wealth one of the issues?
Redistribution of wealth as it pertains to it not going to the vast majority of Americans, I think that's an issue. I mean, we've seen the middle class shrink over the last 30 years, and economic mobility. It's very hard to get up the ladder, and economic inequality is rich getting richer, poor getting poorer. So yeah, I mean, I think the top 1% makes the most money. They pay the most taxes technically, but they have all the money.
Are you in favor of redistributing the citizens' wealth by forcefully taking money from some citizens through taxes in order to provide free goods and services for others?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't use the word forcefully. I think that at some point, you can look at any society in the history of the world, and frankly, at some point, people get fed up. If there's,
well, let me ask you a question. You say you wouldn't. Are people forced to pay taxes?
Yes.
So why wouldn't you use the word forcefully?
I guess it just sounds physical.
Well, if you don't. Okay, if you don't pay your taxes, will they require you to use, and will they use force eventually to make you pay?
Yes, I think you'd go to jail eventually. A lot of people go to jail for not paying taxes, so yeah.
Okay. So you're in favor of that. Now,
yeah, I'm in favor of paying taxes.
Right. You think that the government should redistribute its citizens' wealth, and the way they do it is by forcefully taking money from some citizens through taxes in order to provide free goods and services for others.
No, I don't agree with that framing of it.
They don't provide free goods and services for other people?
Well, everybody pays into something. I mean, what free goods and services are you referring to?
Everybody pays? I thought that 47% of the population citizens don't pay income taxes.
Right, income
right,
taxes.
and okay, so but the income taxes are what are used to redistribute. That's the money that comes in that they use to redistribute.
Part of the money that comes into the Treasury that is distributed to.
Right.
States raise all kinds of taxes, I mean, I love paying taxes. I live in an awesome area, great schools, really safe. I make a ton of money. So and the more money I make, the more taxes I pay, but I don't really I'm one of those guys I know it's weird, but I don't really think about it that much, because I think the government wastes a ton of money, but and at the local level especially, I just love where I live. It's clean, the schools are great, it's safe, and so I think it's the price of civilization.
Should the government protect all peaceful citizens against people that want to use force to take their money?
I don't think I understand that question. Should the government protect
all peaceful citizens against people that want to use force to take their money?
Yeah, I'm still confused as to should the government protect peaceful citizens against those who want to take their money? No, you are. What world are you living in exactly? What America are you referring to? I don't understand.
Are there people in our society that want to use force to take other people's money?
I think everybody agrees on that. Yeah, that's the law.
Are there people in our society that...
Everybody wants to use force to take people's money. Everybody agrees that we have to pay taxes. Everybody, I think, yeah, that's not a controversial controversial issue.
Everybody wants to use force to take other people's money for themselves?
Other people's money for themselves? Yeah, because we all get, absolutely, we all get the military, that's for ourselves, we all get...
Well, just for the record, I don't want to take other people's money to use for myself.
But you are.
No, I don't want to at all. But just yes, I did.
Did you? Are you
And so
safe? That's other people. That's all of our money. It's a pool, and it's taxes.
I don't want to take other people's money for myself. When I want something from someone else, well, just let me say, when I want something from someone else, I'm willing to give something in exchange. When I go to the store, I pay for the things I want. I don't try to take money from other people by force for myself without giving them anything in exchange.
I just don't live in that world. I'm happy to. I'm happy to pay taxes so that those people that are least fortunate with the least amount of opportunity have the opportunities that I was privileged to have. Yeah, absolutely.
You're talking about charity, but I'm not talking about
charity. I'm talking about society. What's your name?
My name is Jan Helfeld.
Where? Jan Helfinger?
Helfeld. Look.
Helfeld?
Let me ask you some more questions. So you don't think that the government should protect all peaceful citizens against people that want to use force?
The question is bizarre. I mean, all peaceful.
Are there people in our society? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What's the difference between an armed robber and a decent, responsible citizen?
An armed robber is way more desperate, I would imagine. I mean, I think my cousin robbed a deli with a machete, and he spent a long time in jail, and and then got out of jail, and then was back in jail. And he's, so desperate, drug addicted. I mean, he had a horrific life. So, I think the difference is somebody who would take up a weapon to arm something. I mean, what kind of person would do that? They must be so desperate, must have so many problems that that's the way that they want to, and so most of us don't have those issues. My cousin, unfortunately, did. He had a terrible life. He was molested. He was drug addicted, and he never really had a shot.
So it wasn't his fault it wasn't his fault that he armed?
No, I really don't think it was his fault. No, I don't think it was his fault that he was molested. I don't think it was his fault that he got addicted to drugs.
Was it his fault that he robbed the store that he robbed?
Yeah, he definitely made that choice, but I mean, it's like...
So it was his fault.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't his fault that he got in that situation.
What I want to ask you is, would a decent, responsible citizen rob a store?
Do you know who robs stores, right?
Criminals, armed robbers.
Why did they become criminals?
Because I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna ask you.
Black and white, bro. I said 8 minutes. We're done. I appreciate your time.
Let me
These questions are retarded.
Let me ask you a question. Can I answer your question? You wanted to know why? You don't want to know. But you asked me a question. Now should I answer?
If I would talk to you, I'm talking to you. I have to get on the radio for 3 hours, then TV.
Okay.
I have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
Maybe 8 minutes. I'm not finding any usefulness in the
But
conversation.
you did ask me a question, but you're not interested in my answer.
I'm not interested in anything at this point. What you have to say, you're not living in the same world I'm living in. We're not having a conversation that is making a lot of sense. I'm not learning anything, and you're not convincing me.
In what way am I not living?
You're a little condescending. Not a lot. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, well, thanks for the interview, Pete, and the insults as well. Bye-bye.
I'm sorry, man. I gotta go.
Take care.
It's just a wait.
Take care.
It's like a little wasteful.
No, don't worry.
But
Take
I wish
care.
you best of luck.
Okay.